How's it going, YouTube? Hydrax here, and in today's video we're going to be ranking the top 10 best units in the game. I know I don't normally do tier lists where I give a definitive answer as to what I think is the best units in the game, but for today I am going to share with you my opinion on the top 10 best units. Obviously, I do want to go ahead and say this. Every time I do one of these tier lists, I do want to say this is my personal opinion. So don't get too offended if I put a certain character above another. This is my personal opinion on how I feel which character deserves to be in which spot. You can obviously disagree and have your opinions on your own tier list, but for now, this is going to be my top 10 best units in the game. And then we do have some honorable mentions here at the end, just for characters that were just shy of being the top 10, or characters that are extremely good but do not fit on the top 10 anymore. Okay, we got to start off with the number 10 spot, and that is going to be Whis. Whis is very good. He is a very strong support unit, and one of the reasons why purple red red or red red purple is so dominant these days is because he feeds the androids and MUI green cards, which just makes him really annoying on that front, because he gives his allies so much in terms of his kit. On top of that, he does have cover change nullification, so even if you do happen to get into a combo, you can't safely cover change against this Whis, because he will just end up swapping out, giving that support buff to whichever allies he's with, and they will end up finishing the job for him. So yeah, he's number 10, definitely a strong unit. For number 9, I'm going to go with Vegito Blue. Honestly, a lot of people were happy that he was going to get a Zenkai Awaken. They were very expectant to see what he could do. Overall, they didn't do much to his kit. His kit has remained largely the same. His two unique abilities are very weak, but honestly, his abilities in his normal kit were very strong, having him draw, I believe, 3 strike cards every time one is used, or he just draws 3 strike cards when he uses a strike. So it's very good kit. He just needed a stat update, and he's still very strong. At higher star levels, he can compete even with the Ultra Gogeta that is also on our tier list, yes, but for now he is going to be remaining at number 9 because he is a little bit squishy and he does have some very strong points, so he is going to end up there. For number 8, I'm going to be putting the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, the Zenkai Vegeta. He's a very strong character. Honestly, when he released, I was very skeptical as whether or not this guy's going to be good, but luckily he actually ended up being very strong. I do like the fact that his lock-in ultimate is a very good way to snipe characters. He has a lot going for him in terms of buffing up his team. Every time you use the card, he heals. It's unfortunate that he does not have endurance nullification on any of his abilities, because that would push him up real high on this tier list. But unfortunately, he has to remain here because he can't nullify endurance, and with endurance being very heavy in the meta alongside revival, he does fall short of having that one key part of his kit to have him up here. Okay, for number 7, we have the Golden Frieza, one of my favorite characters to release. I actually wasn't expecting this Frieza to be this good. Honestly, he's probably one of the better characters in the game, if not one of the best characters they've ever released. People have given this guy a little bit of a comparison to the previous character like himself, being the transforming Goku Black, because they both do similar things and they are both very strong. Him having the ability to make your card cost 99 with the flip of a switch every time he hits you with a blast card means that you're probably not going to end up playing for a very long time if this guy gets you in a combo. He does have cover change nullification, which is really strong. He heals. He goes neutral on blue cards, so he's hitting everybody really hard when he hits them. So yeah, he's a really strong unit, very good, but he is a bit squishy if you do not have him at high stars or very good defensive equips, so he is going to take a bit of damage. But yeah, for number 6, as you can see, I already put Tapion right there. Tapion is an extremely good unit, one of the best support units in the game. He is one of the best characters you can run in the leader slot on any team. Obviously, him having the ability to kill or do damage after death is extremely strong, and he obviously brings his sub count down to 0 when a Rising Rush is activated against you. So you can throw him out there to eat the Rising Rush and die, and then basically play around that. But apart from that, he does get card draw speed on green cards. nullifies cover changes, which is a big deal. He heals, he supports his allies, he just does everything really, really well. He's a very strong unit, and I fully support the Legends development team making 1% sparking characters really, really good, because it actually adds a lot more variety to the game than just seeing Legends Limited and Ultra characters. Okay, for number 5, we are gonna go with Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the latest Legends Limited release of this anniversary. Unfortunately, he does not have what it takes to go up above number 5, in my opinion, because even though he does nullify cover changes twice, it is a limited amount of time, and the fact that his gauge is basically locked behind you using 10 cards can be very detrimental, especially against somebody who is using MUI Goku, for example. How do you safely use a card when MUI Goku is on the field without receiving damage? So this guy is kind of stuck in that situation where if you are up against the MUI Goku, which is very, very often, his gauge doesn't remain filled or doesn't get filled very, very quickly. So he is going to be at number 5. But once his gauge is filled, he's extremely strong. He locks in a blue card. His main ability and ultimate is a extremely strong move. Very easy to get the legendary finish with him as the last man standing, and very, very strong as the last man standing as well, with his ultimate being a very, very strong nuke, similar to the old Super Saiyan 3 Green Goku. But yeah, let's go ahead with number 4. Number 4 is actually going to be Ultra Vegito. I know a lot of people are going to be like, what? Why is Ultra Vegito number 4? And it's very simple. He just doesn't have very much of the better mechanics that the higher characters have. Yes, he's very strong defensively. Yes, he has card draw speed. Yes, he can be a very, very big menace. But with the meta being prominently red and a lot of these other characters, stronger characters here being red, he is going to be type disadvantaged. Even though he does have a green card, it is a long animation green card. He does not get cover change nullification off of it, and it's very easy to cover change against him because he does not get that. Obviously, he has a counter, but yet again, his gauge is a one-time use only in the situation, obviously, because once you use that gauge, it goes down to completely 0, and you basically have that buff, obviously, to yourself. But yeah, he does have some good stuff, good endurance, good. He's actually very, very strong. It's very difficult to put this guy here right now because he does have the boost. Obviously, when the boost expires, we will see where these guys obviously land. But for right now, I'm leaving him at number 4 because he's a lot easier to handle than a lot of the other characters in the game right now, even though he is the latest Ultra character. I know people are going to be angry about this one, but for me, he's at number 4. At number 3, we're going to have MUI Goku, another one people are going to be angry about because obviously these guys are interchangeable. You can choose whoever you want to be number 3 and 4, but for me, MUI Goku is definitely better than this Ultra Vegito. Him having those counters means the match is going to play slow if the opponent does not attack, or if you do not attack the opponent. It's very difficult to play against MUI Goku, or play around him I should say, because those counters can be very detrimental to your team, and he's a very good stall unit. Plus, he has endurance as the last man standing, which can come in clutch. He has cover chain nullification, he has that green card that just powers him up. He's a very strong character. He's also a character that you want to PV with, so for the people who like to sit in the back and camp and try to fish for those things, this is the perfect character. But in most situations, I see myself getting wrecked more by this MUI Goku than by Ultra Gogeta, and similarly, it's easier to use this guy over Ultra Vegito because obviously he does have that type of counter that you can play aggressive or defensively. So he's going to be very, very strong at number 3. Number 2 is going to be Ultra Gogeta, another one people... Honestly, the top 4 characters, people are going to be very angry with me about. I know a lot of people like Ultra Gogeta, he's very strong, but he got kind of like put away for a little bit because of this Golden Frieza, but now that you don't really see LOE anymore, Ultra Gogeta is actually really, really prominent. He has all the good stuff. Obviously Blast Armor, he's a blue card factory, he goes type neutral, he locks, 2 ultimates, he cover chains nulls, he has a lot of stuff, he heals. He basically does everything, so he's going to be a character that's going to be good for a very, very long time. So him at number 2 is going to be my definite pick. And then at number 1 right now, even though their boost has expired, it doesn't really mean much because this character is absolutely crazy. and paired with the number 3 character here and the number 10 character being the red purple meta, these guys are really strong with the cover chain nullification. They just do way too much, and the fact that they counter a good portion of the game being Super Saiyans means that they're going to be absolutely wrecking that specific tag. And characters that are not specific to Super Saiyans, they just do way too much damage. They are extremely strong and potent, and I honestly believe that they released at the wrong time. They kind of overshadow a lot of the other characters on this list, and not by a small amount, by a great amount, which makes me believe that this guy and girl should have been released post-anniversary as the post-anniversary that is limited. Because if we look at what released after the anniversary, this Ultra Vegito is a yellow character, and then obviously the game would have had the blue and then the yellow fusions together. Having them counter or directly counter both of these guys would have made a lot of sense. So I'm feeling like they jumped the gun and dropped these people a bit too early, but yeah, they are going to be number 1. Unfortunately, that's the meta we live in right now. But let's go on to honorable mentions. All these guys here are honorable mentions of being one of the characters that could have been on this list, but just fell short by some miraculous reason, because obviously these characters here are all very strong. Ultra Kaioken. People sleep on Ultra Kaioken a lot. His defense might not be good, but the fact that he can combo the way he still does is incredibly good. You forget that his gauge gives him all the vanish he needs. He gets a lot of damage from his green cards. He has that ultimate that actually wipes you if you're not very careful. Honestly, if it wasn't for the heavily dominated red meta right now, he would honestly be on this tier list as one of the better characters. Obviously, with red being really strong right now, you don't see him as much. He's not holding up as well. But put him against a team that does not have a red on it, or not a very strong red, and he's doing a lot of work on that team. Revival Gohan, one of the better characters, honestly. Revival, honestly, probably one of the only revivals still used. I believe Final Form Frieza he is one of the characters also used, but this guy being purple means he does have a little bit more longevity in the matches, because Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta counters that Frieza quite nicely. So yeah, these guys are both honorable mentions. They're all really good. They're both really good, but for just some other reason or not, they're just falling away slightly. Obviously this guy is a year old now and he's still really strong, but at high stars he can still be on this list and still be very strong as well. The last 2 characters are going to be Cell, and it's going to be the tag Super Saiyan Blues. Cell is extremely potent on the Android team, but you don't really see him as much because a lot of the Android users right now are using purple, red. I mean, if they don't have Whis, they're obviously throwing Cell on here because he's a good anti-Saiyan unit, which is strong and prominent in the game. And then the tag Super Saiyan Blues have fallen away as the de facto best characters in the game, to being more of a combo dealer or a tank. Depends how you want to run them, but most people these days seem to be running them as a tank because they heal so much. So having them there as well is very good as well, with the 70% vanish restoration kind of destroying a lot of people. Actually, that 70% is the reason why these guys are still really strong, and one of the reasons why it's so difficult to play around them, because if you're not careful, they can basically stay on the field forever with what they do. But anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think of my tier list. Obviously there's a ton of characters in this game. Obviously you have your favorites, but for me this is my tier list as being the top 10 best characters in the game with the honorable mentions. Let me know what you think of where I put everybody. Is there stuff you agree with or don't agree with? Let me know down in the comment section down below. But yet again guys, this is my opinion and on what is the best characters in the game. So without further ado guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. My name is Hydrax, and I'll catch you in the next one.